Alright, time to get started here. See if I can fix the very faulty webcam. Still waiting on a cord so I can use my DSLR, which will be nice. And there we are. Yep, keeping busy. Yeah, I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. I've considered it. Have considered it, haven't done it. Haven't watched the new Captain America yet either. Have you watched that one? Yeah, pretty predictable then, huh? Doesn't make for the most interesting series, does it? Well, I did some more progress on. Let's see, where's the latest one here? Let me close out of this. Did some more progress on the text object for the map modifiers. And I pretty much got it working. 1 second here, I'm just trying to get situated. I'm probably not streaming on Thursday, so tonight's pretty much it. You gave up on the movies, they're too tangled with each other. Yeah, they're pretty, it's pretty complex because it's like if you're starting at the very beginning, it's hard to watch them in the like correct, like in world chronological order. But yeah, it's a lot. I've even missed some of them, and I was following them pretty closely for a while. I was a fan of the Doctor Stranges and their integration with the Avengers. I thought that worked out pretty well. I don't know why. I kind of, if I had to like pick a couple of Marvel heroes, I like a lot of them. But I enjoy watching Doctor Strange and then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Wolverine. I'm a fan of the Wolverines and Hugh Jackman's work on it. Captain America and Iron Man. Yeah, they had an interesting dynamic for sure. All right. Time to get busy. Oops. Well, let's see. I guess I could do. I guess I'll do headset tonight. If it annoys me, I'll switch to Bluetooth. But oh yeah, the original Captain America. Yeah, for sure. So what I've done here, nothing groundbreaking, just working on that global text object thing. So over here on the left, actually let me turn on my sword tracker. Over here on the left, we have the text object that can be replicated in any scene. Over here on the right, in the middle rather, is going to be more like, that's more like the dev feedback, but what I want to reveal to the player is more like this. Maybe the map object rarity, something like that. But yeah, so it's like, it seems to be correct. So these numbers are matching up. And if I navigate around, I had a few bugs at first, but I fixed them. So now, let's say you get say you get 4 stats right now, and you say you want to use that. Yeah, the idea is going to be you're going to click on apply. In this case, it's not fully implemented. So what I would do is I would come over, you'd hit apply, and you'd go out to your level. And boom, there they are. And of course, you could like tab on or off if you want to look at it. That way I can have countless modifiers on a particular level. And it's just going to be adding a new line item to the text, really. It's going to pull the text. It's not stored in a text object. It's stored in a global variable. Well, actually, more specifically, it's calling this external event, which is querying the variables and then rewriting the text object. So it's fresh information. It's not just... There's not a huge chance that it's going to be outdated. Which is really one of the core features of the game. So I'm glad I'm getting some progress on that. That whole risk reward system. Had to get past all those stupid fundamental bugs, some of which are still ongoing, but I think we're going to make some good progress there. And I know you had mentioned yeah, more bugs for you. I know you had mentioned yeah, still having some issues with the tower selection, so I did make some changes previously, but what's on GitHub right now is current. So, I mean, obviously I can play around with it a little bit tonight too and just see if I can get anything to happen, which is not unlikely. I know at one point you'd mentioned if you've got multiple towers, maybe like you open up the buttons and then what was it, like click on another tower? Or maybe add a new, like click on this. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to have to happen by accident. It was happening when you were trying to replicate the old bug. Is that with the current project? No, that needs to be here, I think. Clicking on a new tower. Place a few and open the tower type. Then clicked and placed a new tower. Place. And then from there, do you right click and get rid of the icon? If I do that, it takes away the selection. Yeah, then right click. So I just did that. Let's try it again. Get rid of some of these. So open up the selection, new tower, place, right click, new tower, place it, and then if I right click over that tower, yeah, I'm not getting it. I'm sure it's there, it's just hiding. Oh, then select a fire tower. Let's try this. So place a tower, right click, fire tower. Let's see. So select new tower, right click, fire tower. Sneaky, sneaky. All right. Yeah, yeah, I think that's gonna be helpful. Figuring out the exact like nuclear launch sequence is gonna be the key here. Otherwise it's gonna wait till we launch this game, and then the players are gonna figure it out. Some free play testing at the cost of game reviews. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do. I would like, as far as this scene goes, I would like to still have some of this information here to work with. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I might be able to figure it out tonight, but if not, go for it, man. More power to you. You know what? I found something when I was going through my photos. Let me see if I can find it. Well, here's a frog photo, or rather a toad. That's not what I was going to show you, but found that little guy in the backyard. Rather camouflage. Let's see if I can find the real thing here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I was talking about how the that background sprite object is actually just a photograph of my desktop, my physical desktop, with my phone, and I modified it from this original look, which is pretty crappy. You can kind of see like the light flash on there because it's kind of gray. It was pretty low quality, and I managed to get it to look more like that, which I was fairly pleased with. Yeah, it took a minute, but I got it. All right. Anyway, so what I was trying to say is, I think what I want to do is, this area on the left is actually going to be where the player can sort of work with some upgrade options, and they won't have all of the options available, but ultimately what's going to happen is, depending on the rarity of the map, they'll get more potential map modifiers. At this point in time, I'm just trying to get all the modifiers implemented, and then we can work on, like, limiting what's available for a given player at a given time. And so they don't necessarily need to see like the ID. They they don't necessarily need to see that something isn't available, which is already being taken care of by the new text object. I still want to see some of that, so I think I'm going to go ahead and update the global object to still show me that stuff, and then later I can weed it out. Maybe just do like a variable for like dev mode or something. So I'm going to go to here, this set of events. I'm going to copy, actually, not yet. Let me come over here and copy one of these, and then copy the text, or the string rather. I'm going to dump that in here. All right, let's give that a little test. So I create the map object. Oh, I messed that up. It needs to be we need a new line at the end there. Plus new line. Yeah, it's crazy how much impact random bugs have on the overall FPS. I guess it's just like there are so many of those little things. I mean, even if each one is 1 FPS, but you've got like 25 of them, that's a pretty big difference, isn't it? Okay, so that worked, except the ID is not changing when I do these things. So that means this needs to be S current index. All right, so creating the maps, navigating backwards by clicking on the map objects down here, using the arrows, which that works just fine. Okay, next I want to add, I guess, the rarity just for fun. So let's create another line here, and then this. All right. What's the max amount of scrolls? I'm not convinced there will be a maximum amount. I don't have a reason yet to limit the number, but I will incentivize using them and or kind of cashing them in. So there won't really be a reason to forever hoard them. Kind of like currency in any game, I do want to add a sort of, if you want to consider them currency, I want to add a currency sink for them, right? So maybe they can sell them off for like XP points, which can be used for like skill upgrades, or they can actually use them for what their original purpose. So that's what I'm thinking. So for example, I have 4 rarities at the moment, right? So if they get a purple one, which later on, which is going to offer way more risk, way more reward, and they have no desire for like a rarity 1 map, they could sell that for XP points, or I guess experience points. Okay, so we've got rarity working. Next, I wanted to add... Let's see. I had a region in here. I can't remember why I wanted that in there. I think it was going to be to limit the region that the map can be applied to sort of incentivize going to a specific region to encourage playing different areas of the world. I guess I'll leave it in there for now. Having hundreds of scrolls to check would be repetitive. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like, with any given inventory system, you can have a whole bunch of stuff and then you have to look over it. And hoarders are going to have that problem. I could, eventually add like filtering, like show me just the purple ones or something like that. But I think the solution is going to be, and I could be wrong, right? The developer is usually not the best source of knowing if something is fun. It's usually the player base. But I think what I'm going to try is to incentivize A, using them for their original purpose, or B, cashing them in so that people don't feel like they have to just hoard them. So hopefully they won't have hundreds of them to check. Thought it was to unlock certain upgrades through regions. Fire region to unlock meteor upgrade from a boss and stuff. Yeah, for sure. I just don't have that in the game yet. So I'm going to leave that in there. Let me go ahead and copy that text over to my object. So we'll need... Let's see. Unfortunately, I might need all of these. Let's see. Variable. This was a bit of a manual check to see exactly what the element was and then to assign the text to the string to the text object. So change the variable global map region name. No, that should be fine because it's already a string. So we can take... Let's go here, copy this, and let's do... Yeah, the scroll drop chance. Really, it's I don't imagine early on they're going to be pretty rare. Um, what I'm thinking is that even the green lowest rarity map object is going to be like super rare early on, which means that the purple ones are going to be ultra rare, because I think there's going to be other things in the game too, not just scrolls. Some things that might be like more directly just for upgrading your skills. Probably XP. It'll be XP equivalent, where XP doesn't have like an alternate use, whereas the scrolls have an alternate use, right? So in the meantime, in the early levels, they're going to be getting XP, maybe in the form of objects, and then, you know, as they're basically nearing completion of the campaign, they'll start to unlock, or maybe midway through the campaign, they'll start to unlock these levels. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Upgrade to increase drop chance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the drop chance will increase. In fact, that's part of, like right here, the drop frequency. So that's a direct correlation. It'll be a little bit randomized depending on the risk, but yeah, for sure, it's going to need adjusting. All right, we're going to add global map region name. This will be see, I thought I had to do dot value. Let me double check though. Plus line. Does that work? Oh, let's see. Region plus that. I feel like I'm missing something there, but let's find out. Fire, ice, water. Okay, yeah, it's not update. Oh, so I just need to change. What do I need to change? I need to change the variable. Oh, okay. I need to pull it from the array. So this. I didn't want to use all these global variables. I had to do that to add them to the global arrays. I think that's the only way I figured out how to send that information over. So I need s current index. Better than lots of save and load events. Yeah, probably. Let's see, I must have typed this wrong or something here. Let's look. Global array map region names at s current index. Oh. Okay. We're not updating that. We need... right here. I'm just putting it in the wrong spot. Not even that tired tonight, so I have no excuse. No excuse. All right, let's go back here, give it another test. Fire, fire, stone, stone, water. Right. Water, water. What I'm doing is I'm comparing these two blocks of text to make sure that they look right. Because the one in the middle has proven to be accurate. The one on the left is the questionable one. Region, water, stone, stone, water, water, forest. All right, that looks pretty solid. Yeah, it is very order sensitive. I even placed the call to the external events one line too high. And I had like all sorts of goofy behavior in the UI. And all I had to do is drag the call to the external events down and it fixed everything earlier today. Let's see, bosses spawn, region, fishers. I think I've got all this now. So with all of that being duplicated, I think what I'll do is, oops, not that. Just move those off screen. That's going to be very invisible. No, I don't really need those now. So I'm going to move the block of text over here now. The underlying scroll is going to look a little funny. Happy Creeper, what is going on tonight? How's your weekend been? You like that you can directly set an object opacity and properties now instead of at the beginning event? Yeah, I love that. Having those, like all of this control out here, including the opacity, you would think that would be like, you would think that would have been standard, but nothing is standard, obviously. I agree. I agree completely. Quality of life. Happy Creeper. Happy Creeper. Do you play Minecraft? The only Happy Creepers I knew were the ones that snuck up on me and blew me up. Suppose I made many creepers happy in that regard. Here we go. All right, we've got our text coming in. It is fully functional. So now if I go back, what I need to do now is update. So I need to create a Boolean so that when I click on apply up here, oops, I want it to kind of lock in the data, And then if that's not clicked and we go back to the world map, then it's going to clear that global variable. I think that can be a scene variable. Yeah, clicking apply will send you to the world map. That way it, and I'll probably add some like, you know, graphics to make it look like you've actually done something. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's going to take you to the world map. And it'll probably take you specifically to that region. So if it's like a fire map, it'll take you to the fire region, something like that. But I want it to save, if you do apply it, I want it to save some stuff and lock it down so that you can't apply another map. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a global variable. In fact, maybe I should sketch this out real quick just so I don't lose track. It's not that complex, but let me do this. Yeah, click apply, save data, load map. For sure, just get the players straight over to where they're going to use it. Obviously, they could then choose to go back to, like, say, skill upgrades or something. But if they go back to the map modification scene, they're not going to be able to reapply anything. They can maybe manipulate other maps, but we'll have to lock down any new applications, something like that. Or at least give them the option, like with a warning, they could have the option to overwrite it but destroy the currently used one. Something like that. Sorry, I was looking for a whiteboard I had. I lost it. Where did it go? Let's see. Reset if you go back to scrolls. Yeah, we have that option. They just won't be allowed to go into the level and then reset it. At that point, it'll be spent. Maybe it was in Canva. I was looking in Google. Let me look. Let me open my Canva here. That might have been where it was. Okay. Appreciate the hearts. All right, so yeah, looking at this design here, let me do a side by side here. All right, the player will... Let's get rid of that junk. Don't need that. Don't need that. In fact, we need a triangle or something on here. Anyway, so let's say they've made their maps. So this would be button apply mods. So if they click on that, then it will save. Let me think. I mean, all the data is already saved to those arrays. It's going to save... What's the name of that? I think it was a global variable for the selected index. Global map mod current index. That might be the one. Let me double check in the scene, because I was already calling one of those. So if we go over to, like, for example, the boss spawn section here. Well, I thought I did. Where did I call this? Okay, so that's just for the number of bosses. Let me do a search. Okay, right here. Okay, so this is just checking. A variable here. So let me copy that. I'm trying to remember how that's actually mapped. because I was expecting to see the index utilized. This is using the mapmod structure dot bosses can spawn. So let's take a look at that real quick. Okay, right here. Okay, so I think what's happening is I'm taking the current index and I think I need to save all those values into this structure, and then that's kind of like the source of truth for the mods. Exactly. Where did I call this function? I mean, it works. I just can't remember. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Yeah, so I think that was the approach I was taking. It was just, it's saving all of the selected data into this global MM is for map modifications structure. And there's actually more in there than I'm even using at the moment. But there's a Boolean for map bosses can spawn. So I think, and let me see, I need to double check how I'm actually saving to that. So if I go here and look at apply, include events from apply map mod. So let's look at those. Oh no, this was just for the UI. We don't need that. Let's see, where did I apply map? Okay, here we go. I know, it's nonsense. There won't be any hair left soon. Why are my lights off? Okay, so right here, this is where we do this. So apply the mods button is clicked if we at least have a map available. Then if the variable of... Okay, this is where I utilize that current index right here. So I was right about that. I just didn't know where it was called. So if that is true... So let me pull up the thing right here, the whiteboard. Let's say button clicked. Then what it's doing is it's checking if that's true. That should be attached here. What is going on there? Then, so if that's true, we're going to take... assign true. And then conversely, it'll be assigned false. And then pretty much the same is going to be true for a lot of things, but for example, Fisher's spawning, it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, there's like so much. There's a lot of documentation and like videos on like clean code and like coding paradigms, and there's such a thing as over engineering for sure, especially for small projects. But what is a small project? And then, you know, if you don't have a really solid I don't know. I mean, just what I've been experiencing on this and from some previous projects is if it's not a well-structured project, then moving at lightning speed early on is just going to result in slowing to a crawl later on. So that's always been a truth for me. Like I remember I took a couple classes at like in computer science, and some of the rules that they had in place for just like really super basic, like, you know, like just above like a hello world program, where they have you do all these like things around the edges of the program for like best practices. And when you're doing those tiny little snippets, like making a calculator, you're like, why in the world do I need to do all this stuff? But then you start expanding to something more like this, and it starts to make sense. It gets messy fast for sure. So this is going to be the same exact structure for, say, the other Booleans. So this is just going to be this one here. And so on. I'll just put like an etc. here. All right. And all right, so what else? Now, if that's also clicked though, so that's for updating the actual variable data. But I think one of the other important things is, oops. Oh yeah, I guess that can be a group. One of the other important things is going to be any larger flags I need to set here. So that might include like locking the application of more mods. Oops. Let me ungroup that for a second. So we'll say something like set what do I want to call it? Something like map mod applied. So global map mod applied is assigned true. And then if that's true, you can't apply another map modification. Until we add like some other way for that to happen. Which also means that there should be something else here. This should actually be a check for yeah, there can be a reset. See, we need to make these conditions a color, maybe like yellow. Actually, that would need to be false. So you click on the button. It does a check to see if a map mod is currently applied. If not, it will toggle that Boolean to true for next time. And then from there, it's going to do the data checks to see what values need to be assigned to this global map mod structure, and it will assign them. So then it's going to be, we need to look at like doing a reset button. But before we do a reset button, which is more quality of life. Let's implement. What else needs to be implemented? I think everything's working pretty well. The only other thing is for the other button, if you go back, it's basically a cancel button. So if you cancel out and go back to the world, it's not going to do all this. In which case I do want it to clear that structure as well as the global text object. So that's going to be we'll call it button clicked go back. I think this will do something like I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to do anything. Let me check something though. But it doesn't have to do anything besides clear the text object. So let's see if we create some maps. Go to world map, play maps. So we still have these and they're persistent. 0 to 5, world map, play maps. Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess it's really just clearing the text object. That's pretty easy then. Pretty easy. You were thinking about resetting and save upon pressing apply. Resetting and save. It will certainly save upon pressing apply. What is being reset specifically? All right, so this right here. That's actually pretty easy. Just making sure the scroll is put back and replaced with another. Yeah, so we do need to... Yeah, so I think that's the next step after this. If you're talking about... Are you talking about like when you actually use the scroll, like, so you've applied it to a level and you've gone into the level. So at that point, the scroll is considered spent and we need to delete it from the array. Is that along the lines of what you're referring to? Because I think when we hit the apply button, it's going to do that. Sort of. Yeah, so it needs to be reset. Yeah, so like let's say we're on the green one here. We hit apply. So it takes us here It might take us deeper, like say to the fire region. But it'll take us here, and it's going to mark it as... It's already marked those attributes. I don't know why that's black now. And so now that I'm in the level, from here, it should... I need to add probably just a scene event at the beginning of the scene to modify that. Actually, it could actually be here in the world map too. I'm not sure yet. Either at the click of the button or in the scene, it will delete the scroll object so that it no longer exists. I might just do it in the level because there's going to be a lot of different buttons out in the world, on the world map. Map mod scene. So do these things. What else? We need to save. Where is the current one saved? I think it's saved. Global map mod, current index. I think it's the current index. Yeah, you agree with the level start removal. New line. Let me just do this to check something here. Wait, no, that was the wrong spot. Why did I do that? It needs to be here. Right here. Give this a little test. Yeah, current index is not being updated at all. All right, I'll be right back as well. Alrighty. Thank you. Welcome back yourself. Actually, let's see. I think I actually want to move that to here. All right, so the current index is now matched up with the map itself. So we've got that tracking. All right, what else? So let's pull up the whiteboard again. Right here, so applying true to the map mod. Let's see what else. So I think the global variable's already there. Going back should actually clear it. Probably. So we'll clear... Oh, let's say... So it was global map mod current index. That should do the trick for now. Don't really want it to be 0 though, but that might be the closest I can get to null. It shouldn't really have a value at all. Guess I'll have to go with that. It doesn't matter too much, but I just want to clear it somewhat. The other one was the text object. So let me grab that. Something like this. So now so we create some map objects. We select, let's say, this one. We apply the mods. We go into the level. There they are. They're black. I don't know why. And something I've done makes the frames very low. Maybe it's the fissures. Could be the fissures. And then, but let's say we go and we create some maps. And we don't apply, we just go back. Now we go into the level, it says no modifiers. So that seems to be working. I'm not sure it should be. Let me just take a quick look. Oh, I know why. It's because I changed it to black for one scene. So what I might need to do is, can I change the color of it at the start of the scene? Yes, I can, but why is it 0? Okay, I think this is where I need a global variable for what I call it in my whiteboard. Map mod applied. Might do underscores here. Add variable, that will be a Boolean. And so again, if the apply button is clicked, then I'm going to change variable value. set that to true. And then we'll do a check here as well to see that that exact variable is false. If it is true, then it should be like grayed out or something. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, what can we do? What options do we have with buttons? Can we disable a button? You can, okay. I was going to say we could have it pop up a message or something, but if we can just disable it to begin with, that might suffice. So we don't necessarily need that at the moment. At the beginning of the scene, though, we can check again. Wait, at the beginning of the scene? Yeah. Unless there's a reset button here within the scene, we wouldn't want it just at the beginning. But let's start there, at least. If reset, then set to false. Yeah, so we could do an update upon clicking a reset button or whatever, and then re-enabling it. So in this case, we have the changing the variable map mod applied to true whenever it's clicked if we have maps, and then also if the variable's false. So let's try this. We create some, we apply, then we go back, and yeah, it looks like it is in fact disabled. So that worked. So we could go back to the world map from there. Level started with scroll is reset. So beginning of scene, check for reset maybe. Something like that. I'm thinking the only places it will be reset is by playing the level like this, or by being within the map mod scene here and clicking reset. In which case it wouldn't be at the beginning of the scene. It would just be upon clicking a reset button. Because I don't want to necessarily punish the player if they're on like one scroll, they click apply, and they meant to apply a different one. They shouldn't be punished for that. If used in level, then reset to 0. Yeah, exactly. Then on mod screen check. Exactly. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's go into the scene. We'll say tell you what, let's do a sub event here. Actually, I didn't mean to put it there. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to say variable so if it's map mod applied is true, and then probably could also double check for well, let's just start there. So if map mod applied is true, I want to make sure I don't delete it before we use it all, though. So I'm trying to think of the use cases here. But we could go ahead and reset. That particular variable. So I mean, we could test that real quick. All right, so let's say we're on number 2. We apply. We test this by going back. It's still been applied. We still have it. So let's go back to the world map, go into the level. Wait, why did we get no modifiers? The modifiers did apply. Why is that there? If you're in a level, then the scroll is used already, so just setting to false will save on more variables being checked and changed. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so I think it's working. So, because it's deleting. So if we apply them when we go into the level, we have them, the mods. If we leave, oops, close the whole game. Apply, go in, we have them. I need a way to actually get out of here. Give up, there we go. And then we go back in. It's still there, so we do need to delete this stuff. I'm thinking of some possibilities here. Because I still want access to the data before I overwrite it. And if I clear the data before the level begins, like at the beginning of the scene, that would make sure that it's cleared no matter what. So even if the player like rage quits the game and they come back in, you know, like they just kill the program, but they haven't, say, clicked on back to main screen or whatever, then they might be able to restart the game without losing their mods, which is not ideal, because that would encourage, you know, that would be a loophole. Yeah, I think I might need to just because I'm nearing the end of the stream here, and I don't want to make a big decision and then have to go back in and change it. But I think that based on this logic that we've talked through, and I mean, I think it's mostly there. It's just a matter of I need to create one of these specifically for what logic is applied in the scene, like in the level versus out here in the map mod scene. But we do have the check, the check for if the map mod applied is true, and then we are clearing that in the level as well. So we're off to a pretty good start here. So we take that, we apply it, or let's say we go back to the world map and we play, and so no modifiers there, which is good. So we go back, still nothing, go back, maps, we click on one, we apply it, we go into the level, we'll tell you what, let's go back again. So the button's disabled, and then let me check something here real quick. Oh, I just thought of something here. Yeah, it is kind of an if-else event. Exactly. I just thought of something, because right now my game is loaded with map mods applied, but if I can't click on this button anymore to go to the level, right? So my only option to navigate is to go back to the world map, but right now that's going to clear these variables. So that would have been a bug. So let's close that. And then I guess I'll finish off with this tonight. So that needs to be a check before we clear it. Yeah, it should only swap the scene, but the issue is if you haven't applied a map, then the global text object is going to be populated. And so I want to clear that, but I only want to clear it if the map mods applied Boolean is false. So this needs to be let's see right here. Button world map is clicked. And here I'll add a condition for this. If map mod applied is false, then clear this stuff. But if it's true, we want to leave it intact. So let's try that. So like, let's say right now, let's say we don't apply, we're looking at this number 2 here, we go back, play, go into the level, no modifiers. Maps, looking at number 2 again, we apply, we go back to the maps, and we can do anything here, I think. It doesn't matter. Then go back again, go into the level. Hold on a second. I think that doesn't address everything. It addresses that one problem. So create. Let's say we're up to index number 3. We apply. We go back to the maps. We create another one. We go back to the world map, go into the level. Okay, and it's showing number 4. So it's not happy about that. Okay, so I might need to check that Boolean in the external events as well. Let me think. Current index. Not necessarily, though. It just needs to be... I think the map mod current index needs to be checked. Yeah, so using the UI changes the variables in the text, which is ideal for that scene, but I don't want it to change how this writes up the text in the level if a modifier has already been applied, right? So I'm trying to think. So from the level, we just want to call check the click scrolls events. Yeah, so what we have is it's clicking the scrolls, creating a new map, and clicking the left and right buttons all do the same thing. In fact, there's a bunch here that we're not using anymore. Let me see here. Most of this is just text that we're not using. Disable that. But all it's really doing is calling the external events. Apply to the scene variable, then save the scene variable to global if click apply. Yeah, I think that's what, so that was the original plan, and I think that's actually what's going on. So if we do this like the most normal way, right? So right now, if I apply, it's taking the scene index. By the way, this number here, this current index is the global value. So that's immediately being saved to the scene index. And if I apply, it's going to leave it there. But if I do go back, navigating around, whether I click on the scrolls or use these navigation arrows, or even, click that button. However it is I change the scroll that's selected, it's currently overwriting the index. But I've already applied something, and so let me think. I think that the actual application is correct. I think it's just the text object that's not. In other words, this external event keeps rewriting the text object, but it's not overwriting the actual arrays with the logical data. So that would be in this structure right here. So I don't think that those are actually incorrect. the level the level would be able to pull from this data. I think it's just the text object that's the issue here. Must be an action to save it upon scroll being clicked. Yeah, every single time that I click on a new scroll, it's calling all of this, right? Maybe what I'll do, I mean, I could add a condition here. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should duplicate this because it's going to be a lot of the exact same activities. Because we're using the same text object, right? And changing this upon clicking a scroll just bypasses the apply button. Yeah, it kind of does bypass it. But, and again, it bypasses it just for the text object, not necessarily for all of the backend data. I think that's true. Let me double check though, because that would be even worse. Yeah, so right here, so when we apply the mods, this global map mod structure, that's being updated only then. So again, we're only worried about the text object itself. So it's not really, it's not like an exploit for the game. It's just a bug on the text. So with that being the case, yeah, a good call would be way worse if it was bypassing the actual mods. Tell you what though, I think I'm just a little bit fried, so I'm gonna sleep on it. I'll get this squared away here probably tomorrow, and then I'm probably gonna update everything onto GitHub because I'm gonna be rolling offline midweek through next week. So yeah, I'll just put it in kind of a stable state and it'll be ready to go. So yeah, I think that's about it. Appreciate you hanging out. It's always good chatting with you, man. And anyone else who's watching the stream, thanks for joining along. Join our Discord for more GDevelop tips or to share your work, whatever it is that you're working on. And till next time, I hope that you have fewer bugs than I do. So thanks for watching.